Never buy these 5 things if you want to retire early. Everyone wants financial freedom. Everyone dreams of retiring early, traveling the world, waking up when they want, and never worrying about money again. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people never get there, not because they don't earn enough, but because of what they spend their money on. It's not the latte, it's not the occasional meal out. It's the big decisions, the repeated purchases, and the hidden traps that silently drain decades of future freedom. If you want to retire early, there are 5 specific things you should avoid buying at all costs because they don't just steal your money. They steal your time, your compounding, and ultimately your chance at early retirement. The first trap is luxury cars. Cars are perhaps the #1 wealth destroyer for anyone dreaming of financial independence. The moment you drive a brand new luxury car off the lot, you've just burned thousands of dollars in instant depreciation. And that's just the beginning. Insurance, maintenance, repairs, gas, and upgrades all bleed your wallet. People convince themselves they deserve the BMW or Mercedes when their salary climbs, but in reality, all they're doing is trading years of their life for a shiny metal status symbol that doesn't actually move them closer to freedom. If you invested the difference between a $60,000 luxury car and a reliable $15,000 used car into a simple index fund, you'd be amazed at how quickly that money compounds into hundreds of thousands over the years. That's the kind of decision that accelerates retirement instead of delaying it. A car is supposed to get you from point A to point B. Until you are already financially free, resist the temptation to buy one that locks you into years of delayed retirement. The second wealth killer is the oversized house. People think buying a bigger house is an investment. They tell themselves real estate always appreciates, but in reality, the bigger the house, the bigger the mortgage, the higher the property taxes, the more expensive the maintenance, the higher the utility bills. It's not just the upfront cost. It's the ongoing cost that quietly eats into your savings every single month. Too many families buy more house than they actually need because they're trying to impress their friends, relatives, or neighbors, or because they fall for the dream home fantasy sold by realtors and mortgage companies. If you want to retire early, remember this: the less you spend on housing, the more cash flow you have for investing. People who achieve financial independence, retire early, almost always live below their means in terms of housing. They choose practicality over prestige. That decision alone can accelerate retirement by a decade or more. The third mistake is buying the latest gadgets, toys, and technology upgrades that don't actually change your life. Every year, new phones, tablets, smart TVs, and laptops hit the market, and billions of dollars are spent by people chasing the newest version of what they already own. Most of the time, the difference between last year's model and this year's is so small you wouldn't even notice in day-to-day use. Yet people line up to hand over hundreds or even thousands of dollars for the illusion of being up to date. If you step back and calculate how much money gets wasted over a lifetime on unnecessary tech upgrades, you'll see how destructive it really is. The better approach is simple. Use your devices until they truly stop working or no longer support essential functions. Every dollar you don't waste on chasing the latest gadget is another dollar that can grow and compound for your future freedom. Technology should serve your goals, not drain your wealth. The fourth wealth destroyer is luxury fashion and accessories. Designer clothes, expensive handbags, watches, and branded shoes aren't just overpriced. They're traps that lock you into a cycle of consumption for validation. The truth is, nobody actually cares about your $2,000 handbag or your $800 sneakers. People might notice for 5 seconds, but they're too busy worrying about themselves to admire your purchases. What you're really doing when you buy luxury fashion is broadcasting insecurity. You're telling the world that you need a logo to feel valuable. And here's the harsh reality. While you're spending thousands on clothes that depreciate the moment you walk out of the store, someone else is buying low-cost, practical clothing and redirecting the difference into investments that will buy them decades of freedom later. Wealthy people don't need to prove they're wealthy. And if your goal is to retire early, you should stop trying to look rich and start building real wealth. The fifth and final mistake is perhaps the most dangerous. Lifestyle upgrades disguised as necessities. This could be expensive gym memberships you never use, subscription services that pile up unnoticed, or costly hobbies and habits that you justify by saying, "It's for my mental health," or "I deserve it." The danger with lifestyle upgrades is that they feel small in the moment, but they add up massively over time. A $200 per month subscription bundle, a $300 per month gym, a few self-care splurges every weekend. All of a sudden, you're burning through thousands per year without even realizing it. And it doesn't stop there. Once you raise your lifestyle, it's extremely hard to downgrade. People get used to their comforts, and what once felt like a luxury quickly becomes the new baseline. This is called lifestyle creep, and it is one of the most powerful forces keeping people stuck in the rat race. The solution: ruthlessly cut the fat. Keep only the subscriptions and memberships that you truly use and value, and redirect everything else into your freedom fund. Now here's the big picture. Every single one of these 5 categories, cars, houses, gadgets, fashion, and lifestyle creep, represents a fork in the road. Each time you choose them, you're choosing to delay your retirement, to stay in the system, to keep working for decades longer than you need to. But each time you reject them, each time you say no to unnecessary purchases and yes to investing, you're choosing freedom. You're buying back years of your life. You're buying mornings where you wake up without an alarm clock, afternoons spent with family, and evenings where you're not stressed about bills. The truth about early retirement isn't complicated. It's not about hacking the stock market or finding the next big crypto. It's about discipline. It's about recognizing that your future freedom is hiding inside your current spending decisions. Every dollar you don't waste is a dollar that compounds into decades of freedom later. The difference between the person who retires at 40 and the person who works until 70 isn't income. It's choices. Instead, live below your means, invest aggressively, and protect your freedom like it's the most valuable asset you'll ever own, because it is. Early retirement is possible, but only for those who are willing to make the trade. Short-term sacrifices for long-term independence. The choice is in your hands right now. Your bank account will reflect it. Your calendar will reflect it. And eventually, your entire life will reflect it.